Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a special edition Attack on Show. I'm Rob E.
And I am J Marsh.
And we're going to be taking a look with the unfortunate passing of our Batman, Kevin Conroy. We're going to be taking a look at our top 3 Kevin Conroy Batman, either episodes, movies, our top 3
video
moments,
games that he had. Yes.
Yes, of the Kevin Conroy Batman era. All right. I know it's really sad.
It is.
Very sad that Kevin Conroy passed away far too early. But I think the man left such an influence, especially on our generation.
Absolutely.
When it comes to Batman.
Yeah.
I mean, the series was a massive hit right out of the gates.
The series also left an incredible impact on Batman as a character as well.
Huge.
Yes.
I mean,
and obviously, with the the focus on his voice gave Batman as a character its substance and its depth. What we're doing today is offering our tribute by picking out our 3 favorites.
Yes, because the series, I got to say, I watched live while it was on air.
I did as well.
Every day after school, coming home, popping it on, and definitely left a huge impact and was very sad by the news. So I think it's only fitting we have to cover some Batman.
Absolutely, we do.
Do you want to go first with your first
pick?
if
you would. And I want to preface this with the fact that to pick 3 is kind of rough. I'm not going to say this is my 3rd. It's one of my 3 when it comes to this.
And we could have picked 50 each.
Oh, easy. Well, what says 28 episodes first season, then 2020 for the next 2 is incredible. Yeah. Second Chance is going to be mine. Second Chance tells the story of Harvey Dent's Two-Face, who is at this point inside a mental institution. He's seeing a therapist and he's recovering. And it kind of tells the story of how, they keep pulling him back in. It's a touching story, which I don't think that I could go on and on about the impact that the animated series had on Batman as a character. But this is one of those. It's like it's a deep. It gives a depth to a cartoon that you would never expect.
Sorry, Harvey's my friend. I'm worried about him.
Right, and I'm just the kid in tights.
And it kind of goes on in the story, and I don't want to give away too much.
They're past the spoiler alert.
In the end, it basically, the most touching part of it is that, Batman makes a commitment to Harvey Dent that no matter what happens, that he will be there for him and he will be his friend. And it's a really touching, deep.
Good old Bruce. Always there. You never give up on me.
Yeah.
For something that's like 21 minutes or something like that, it's an incredible episode. The voice work in it as Batman is just, this warm character that goes along with it is incredible. So
yeah, and that was either season 1 or 2.
That was season 1.
Season 1, which for season 1 and 2, obviously had was done a certain way. Season 3 has a different animation company. I was really impressed with Kevin Conroy early on, that the voice fluctuation between Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Yes.
And I think that episode really highlighted it.
Did,
because
absolutely.
when he's talking to Harvey Dent, it's the Bruce Wayne voice, and he would be a whole separate character with that Bruce Wayne voice. I was always really impressed with that. That's a great pick.
Yeah.
That's a great pick. I'm going to go season 3, Growing Pains, which this was an interesting episode to me, and I always gave credit, like my highlights for any of the Batman and Robin or Batman animated series episodes, they generally always turn out to be written by Paul Dini, because Paul Dini just, I thought, had a great grip on the character and understood it. And he would always have these interesting plot twists to keep you guessing. And this was one where Robin's chasing after this little girl with amnesia, and he becomes friends with her, and her dad is chasing her throughout this episode, and Batman's trying to help, but Robin doesn't really want him involved. But it was always such a great episode to me because I loved the little twist at the end, is that the dad ends up being Clayface. And then you find out that the daughter is a piece of clay that got away and kind of developed his own personality and couldn't remember. And it was so emotional because, like you said, in 21 minutes, you've cared for this character, and you see Robin's emotional, touch to her and connection. and all of a sudden she's
You're like,
Clayface and just melts away, and you're like,
yes.
holy cow,
Yes,
this is
that
a
was
21-minute
it. That was
kids
it.
cartoon.
Boom.
And
Yes.
then, Batman has to come in because Clayface is mighty, which I would love to see Clayface in a movie. I think that those visual effects you could have a lot of fun with.
Sure.
But that'd be great. But that was an episode that always left a memory in my head, a staple in my head that I love
forgot
that.
about
I'll
that.
go to that
Yes.
episode quite a bit.
Yeah.
So you're next.
My number 2, actually a little bit in that same vein, because again, it's a touching episode that you don't necessarily expect, is Heart of Ice.
Oh, Mr.
And
Freeze?
Mr. Freeze. It actually tells it completely changes the Mr. Freeze backstory into a far more touching story. He is a doctor, and it's actually Freeze is not F-R-E-E-Z-E in this. It's like his name, like they changed the concept of his last name. It's Dr. Freeze, but
Like
not spelled.
R-I-E-S.
Yes, right. His wife has a terminal illness. He works with a cryogenic development. Long story, he freezes his wife because she has a terminal illness, and the company he works for basically fires him and thaws her out, and she dies. And it kind of tells, in the midst of all this, he's exposed to a freezing agent, which turns him into Mr. Freeze. It's an incredibly kind of really sentimental and touching story. And to bring it back full circle, the voice work in it by Batman and is very, like you can feel the sympathy in his voice. It's really,
Yes.
I mean, it's maybe number 1. I don't know. It's an incredible,
I'm almost positive that's written by Paul Dini because I remember Mr. Freeze was very one-dimensional type villain, and this series is really what gave him his depth.
And I mean, that has changed, again, it's one of my indications that has changed Mr. Freeze throughout the entire,
Yes.
Batman universe. Like, that is cited as the original origin story now.
Actually, my favorite villain. I mean, because of
Okay.
that series, because I love the backstory that they gave him. That he's not necessarily a bad guy. He's doing what he has to do to try and save his wife.
Sure.
And what person wouldn't? And I love that they added all for that character. But the voice work of Mr. Freeze too
Is excellent as well. Yes.
The way that they give that slight echo reverb and it sounds wicked.
That revenge is a dish best served cold.
It's very well done. My number 2, I'm going to go with, this is again season 3, which I'm not the biggest
Weird.
fan of the animation when they changed it. However, another episode written by Paul Dini is called Over the Edge. And this was a fantastic episode because, again, it's one that I think this could have been a movie in Hollywood, this
Sure.
storyline, where it starts out where basically Batman and Robin are on the run, and then they're like in the Batcave running, and Commissioner Gordon's chasing them with the entire police force, and they're shooting at them, and like
You don't really know what's going on.
No,
at
you
this
don't know what's
point.
going on. You're thrown right in the mix of it,
Yes.
and then they escape, and they run into Nightwing, and Bruce is telling the story, and basically like Batman, Robin, and Batgirl were fighting Scarecrow on a rooftop, and Scarecrow like punches her off the roof, and she falls and dies on Commissioner Gordon's car, and he takes the mask off and realizes that it's his daughter, Barbara. So he gets angry at Batman for not telling him and for taking his daughter and putting her in this life.
How could you? I worked with you, trusted you, and you never told me?
And now
He's
she's
down,
dead.
they're down, yeah.
So the whole police force, everything changed. They basically turn on Batman. They start hunting him, and the whole episode. I mean, he tells Robin, "You give up. You're too young. I can take this. Like I'll take the heat." And that conversation between Batman and Robin, where Kevin Conroy just voices that. You finally feel for the first time like this is how Batman's going to lose. Like this is the end game for Batman.
Yes.
And he just takes it. And then they bring in Bane. Commissioner Gordon makes a deal with Bane to fight him. So you're watching this, waiting for Batman to get his broken back and be done. And then the great twist that Paul Dini always does
God, it's fantastic.
ends up being a dream, but it's a dream that Batgirl is having, that he sprayed her on that rooftop in a fight. And it leads to her to want to tell her dad, Commissioner Gordon. And it's just a beautiful ending because Commissioner Gordon ends up telling her, whatever your choice is, you're grown up and I will love you anyway.
Right.
So it takes that burden off because that was her biggest fear and why she had the nightmare. But to get to that point was I felt like I was watching an hour and a half episode because there's so much happening and it keeps you on the edge of your seat. Like, why is this happening right now? Well done episode. Great voice work by Kevin Conroy and beautifully written by Paul Dini.
And that episode is a great kind of example of this entire overarching not style, but theme as it comes through this. I mean, these 3 seasons are such a grounding force in what Batman is now and is today.
Oh, no, Wayne. No vanishing act this time.
No!
Alfred.
Yes.
And, there's so many beautiful plot twists and stories, and not repetitive when it comes to these 3 seasons.
No.
But I will
Wrap
go
up
to
your 3.
my wrap up, my 3. My last one is I Almost Got Him, which many argue is perhaps the best of the 3 seasons. I don't know. I really don't. I think there's so much good stuff. It's like, trying to pick your favorite kid. But, and it's funny because I rewatched this. It's not hard. We rewatched this. And it's just such an incredible episode. Even the opening and them playing cards. And you literally go through a couple minutes where...
Well, it's all the villains playing poker.
It's all the villains, yes, I should say. It's all the villains playing poker. And you know who they are, but you don't have to see their faces as it begins. And it's just a really great story as they all tell their separate stories in just minutes.
Of how they almost got
him. And literally, and it's the story they almost got me because they all have almost gotten, they've almost all come close. And as it tells that story, it leads to a giant twist at the end. And I'm not going to give it away because even if you have or haven't watched it, it's fun to go back and be like, oh yeah, that's what happens there. So there's a fun twist at the end. Again, I think it's kind of just the classic and it kind of tells that whole... it's a thing for the entire season.
It was fun to see those characters interact because you always only see like one villain going against Batman.
Yeah, they're all kind of just sitting talking, and they all have such a different approach to their almost time.
How
they almost got them.
Yeah. No, it's great. I'm going to shift gears.
Oh.
My favorite, and I was a huge fan of this series, probably a little bit more than Batman animated
here we go.
series.
I know where he's going.
Batman Beyond. I am going to go with the movie, though, of The Return of the Joker.
Oh, yes.
And because of this, this movie is phenomenal. Even if you didn't watch the Batman Beyond series, I would say watch Batman Beyond Return of the Joker because it ties in so beautifully with the animated Batman series. Mm-hmm. Again, written by Paul Dini, directed by Kurt Gita, who did a lot of great episodes for the Batman animated series. But this is a story basically in the future where Batman is old and retired. This new kid finds the Batcave and becomes Batman. While Bruce Wayne's in the Batcave, he can see what he's, the new Batsuit's mechanical. So Batman is kind of the mentor, but he sees everything in live action, is always guiding Terry McGinnis on what to do. And this is the Joker reappears unaged in the future.
Hello, Gotham. Joker's back in town.
Like just tormenting Gotham, and it is a great mystery that really has you guessing. They do a great job of making throw-off characters. They bring Mark Hamill back to play the Joker, which I think is something that, again, to talk about the voices, the Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy's relationship over the years, you really feel it in this movie when they first see each other, and there's a scene where Joker gets into the Batcave and drugs Bruce, and Kevin Conroy's voice work of being drugged and having the laughing gas and him trying to speak without, while laughing.
Through it, yeah.
It is so well done and just creepy and eerie, and it sends chills while you're watching it.
Under table.
And I gotta say, I love Batman Beyond. I think it's a great series. And I really wanted this to be last on my list because I don't think Batman Beyond, as well written as it is, as amazing as the animation is, would have worked without Kevin Conroy voicing Batman, because that was the connection to the Batman animated series that fans that wanted more of that, I don't know that they would have tuned into Batman Beyond and this original story of a futuristic Batman had Kevin Conroy not stepped in to voice Bruce Wayne.
Bridged his voice, and that bridged a lot of it. But I also give that to just the incredible writing in both. I think Batman Beyond is just fantastic as well.
Yes, but I do want to say that I think that was the highlight for Kevin Conroy. I think he does an amazing job in The Return of the Joker. It's great to see him and Mark Hamill revisit those roles, because this was after the series of Batman Beyond was canceled. This movie came out, and this was like our last animated viewing of Batman Beyond, and they held nothing back. And watch the unrated version. There's two
Big
versions
difference,
out
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Watch the unrated version. There's a great flashback scene that they do, and it's amazing because it's the exact animation from the old Batman animated series. So it's great that you get your futuristic Batman, and you also get like
they
a
really
mini
connect them
Batman
together.
animated
Yes,
series
yeah,
episode
absolutely,
in
yeah.
the movie. So definitely worth checking out. I
Absolutely.
loved it. So that's our tribute to Kevin Conroy.
Fantastic.
Animated Batman, our selections. So let us know if you've seen those episodes, if you have your favorites.
Oh, make sure you put them in the bottom.
Yeah, I know there's going to be
absolutely,
more out there. We obviously didn't hit them all. We could have gone on forever. But
No.
we want to hear your guys' great memories of Kevin Conroy and what impression he left on you filling the role as Batman for so many years as he did across so many
Yeah,
platforms. He was amazing and he will be missed. So
Absolutely, he will.
yes. We want to thank you for watching. While you're down there leaving your comments, we got to say, hit like.
Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you hit that bell.
Thank you for watching. As always, I'm Rob E.
And I'm J Marsh.
And this is
Attack on Show.